Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Losing to Gain. We're looking at Philippians chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. And welcome to the second video of this series. We're looking at the nerdy stuff, the verbs that move the heart. So, this is going to be a basic word study breakdown. All I'm doing right now is I am just looking at verbs. So, in this session, we're going to mark up the action like like we're literally going to mark up the Bible. So I want us to take a look at the verbs that Paul used. So bear with me, all right? I'm going to read this out and I'm going to underline the verbs in red. So whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ. Indeed, I count everything as loss for the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord. For his sake, I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish in order that I may gain Christ. Pretty cool, right? So let's go ahead and write out the verbs so we can see them in list form. So had, count, counted, have suffered, and gain. All right. So each of these verbs tells a story, right? So when we take a look at had, it shows us Paul's past gain. So what are Paul's past gains? His past gains would be that, he is high up there in the Pharisaical governing part of the Jewish body, if you will. He's got the religious status. He's got, he's the Jew of the Jews. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. He's been circumcised after the first 8 days of his birth. Like he has all of this status quo that he can brag about and boast about for himself. He is counting all of that as a past gain. Okay. Then you take a look at the word count and counted. And this shows his reevaluation of life's worth. So reevaluation of life's worth. So how I like to interpret this is he's looking at all the things he had and he's saying, was it worth it or is Christ more? As a matter of fact, that's what I think he's saying. He's saying, was all of my status quos worth it? No, but Christ is more. Okay. So then we get to the part where he says he has suffered. What does he mean here? This shows us Paul's real sacrifice. Shows us what he gave up. And I can't spell for some reason. All right. So had shows his past gains. Counted and count shows his reevaluation of life's worth. And then his suffering shows his real sacrifice. So what does gain show us? So gain shows us Paul's goal. It shows us Paul's goal. And what is Paul's goal? Christ, which should be our goal as well. Christ should be our goal. Okay? Now I want us to take a look at something. Let me get a green pen here because I think this is going to be important. All right? Paul is telling us to gain Christ. All right? And he's telling us to take our past gain and count them as rubbish. That's what Paul's telling us. Gain Christ and count all of this stuff here as rubbish. So Paul isn't using empty words here. These verbs invite us to reflect on our own lives, which kind of makes me think of a question. Let me write it out for us. So What am I holding on to that I need to count as loss? So if I'm trying to, let's see, if I'm trying to gain Christ, I have to be willing to count all the things that I gained as rubbish. I have to let that stuff go. So I want to put this into real context here. You got a career, you're trying to advance in your career, you're trying to excel, you're getting all the certifications you need, you're going to college, getting all the degrees, getting the extra letters behind your name. Here's the question. Is it for your sake or is it for Christ's sake? What are you holding on to that you need to count as loss? And guess what? I am not innocent of this either. So that is the end of the verbs. And I hope this session helped you understand these two verses a little bit better. Thank you.